Well, good morning. Great to be with you. And the Enhanced Trade Partnership, as agreed by the Prime Minister, does mark for a step forward in our strategic trading relationship with India. Trade has been vital in the fight against the pandemic, and it's absolutely critical that as we build that better, we have liberalised and open supply chains to facilitate not only the life-saving research and the medical products that we need to get to those who need them, but also to make sure that the economy can bounce back. And so this enhanced trade partnership will play a significant role in the global economy in the coming decades. It will cover the opportunity for Britain and India to double our trade from 23 billion in 2019 by 2030. And, you know, it underpins the fact that nearly 500,000 jobs are already supported in both countries through investment in each other's economies. So creating another 6,500 jobs here, but also setting out our shared intent, as you say, to begin negotiations on a comprehensive FTA by the end of the year.
When one reads into this subject, Minister, the same old sticking point comes up again and again, and this is the free trade of people from India to the UK. We know we've got enormous historic links as well, and many people we know, of course, have got families on both sides of this deal as well. Can we open up in terms of the kind of people we want to come here, the very smart young Indians to come here and boost our tech sector?
Well, we now have a level playing field on immigration for the first time in, well, what, 50 years? And as a result of having left the European Union, now we treat folks from India the same as anywhere else in the world. Those people who have the skills that we need are able to come. Those business travellers that want to contribute to our economy are already able to do so. And of course, we've gone further on student visas, which has been significant for India. And indeed, as you say, it allows those smart young people from India who want to perhaps study here and maybe even work here to do so in the months and years ahead as we come back from COVID. But of course, it's a two-way street. And, you know, British businesses have significant opportunities in India as a result of not only this agreement, but what might come in the future in hugely important and growing sectors like health and technology, but also food and drink. And so we hope that this partnership and the roadmap that it creates will help not only create more than 6,500 new jobs across the United Kingdom, but it will also make sure that more business is done in each other's countries, which cements that link.
Minister, can we talk about the obligations the UK has to help India in its moment of crisis? The Prime Minister has been trumpeting the supply of ventilators, but as you know, there are many who are arguing that India be allowed to keep the vaccines that are destined for the UK, and actually the UK should be sending vaccinations to India. What's your response?
Well, we don't comment on the supply of vaccines, and our first priority is to protect the British public. The vaccine rollout here is continuing at pace, but we do stand side by side with India as a friend and partner during what is a deeply concerning time in the fight against COVID. We've already shipped, as you say, more than 600 pieces of vital medical equipment, including oxygen concentrators and ventilators, which will support the efforts to prevent the tragic loss of life from this terrible virus in India. And we continue, of course, to work closely with the Indian government during this difficult time. The Health Secretary has confirmed that we've worked to get large-scale oxygen production equipment capable of producing 1,000 litres of oxygen a minute out there. And we're determined to make sure that Britain does everything that she can to support the international community in this global fight. This is a global fight against the pandemic.
I don't understand why you're not willing to talk about the vaccines. I mean, surely it is clear either you will or you won't supply vaccines to India.
Well, we don't comment on supply of vaccines. That's been a long-stated policy of Her Majesty's government. And we've already backed the COVAX vaccine scheme with hundreds of millions of pounds. That has now delivered more than 40 million doses to 117 countries. So we are serious about what we say, which is that we are determined to make sure that Britain does everything that she can to support the international community across the world. And we certainly believe that the relationship that we have with India means that we should do all that we can, and that's why we've got over 600 pieces of vital equipment already out there.